Hi everyone, and welcome to another thrilling episode of
The Dungeon Crashers. I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapito. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and turn on notifications if you don't want to miss any of our amazing content. In our last videos, we said we were going to build a psychic warrior, and it was going to be a hobgoblin, so it seems to be an unusual combination, but it actually works pretty well together.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this one. First of all, I've been really interested in the Psy Warrior since it came out in Tasha's, and I've been wanting to play a hobgoblin for a while. So far in 5e, I've played a goblin and a bugbear, so sooner or later I need to finish it out with a hobgoblin. Yeah. Hobgoblin's a great race. It's +2 constitution and +1 intelligence. It starts with proficiency in light armor and 2 martial weapons, which would make a great melee wizard, but we're starting with spiders, so that doesn't help us much. We do, however, get dark vision and the racial ability of saving face, which allows us to 1 do any attack, save, or ability check for each ally we can see within 30 feet. This recharges on any rest and is a great ability both mechanically and from a flavor standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. We are starting at fighter, but Psy Warriors need intelligence as well as an attack stat, and we also are multi-classing into wizard, so we are going to prioritize our intelligence. And we are going to be using our dexterity for our attack stat. Also, because of our racial bonus, our constitution will also be good. We are using the point by putting a 10 in strength because we don't want a negative, and we don't need any more. A 14 in dexterity, lower than I'd like, but it'll do for now. 14 in constitution, that will be 16 from the racial bonus. 15 intelligence would also be 16 from the racial bonus. 10 in wisdom, because we don't want a negative there as well. And we can afford to have a 8 in charisma because we just don't need it.
For background, we went to use Haunted One from Curse of Strahd. It works for a few reasons. First, it will explain our strange psychic abilities. The background says that prior to being an adventurer, your life was defined by a single dark moment. Ours is we found a tome in an ancient ruins. And even though it was in a strange language, we understood it perfectly. And what we read filled us with terror. And we burned the book, but it altered us in strange ways, and now we are haunted by the desire to recreate what we found in it. The language was the deep speech used by mind players and other aberrations, and we fear they are connected to the tome. The background gives us 2 languages, one of which can be exotic, which will be deep speech. We will also take Dwarven as the language of our tribe's enemies. We also start out speaking Common and Goblin. The background also gives us Investigation Arcana, which we use to try to discover any information about the tome and what happened to us. The terror we've experienced has marked us, and common folk will try to help us out of sympathy or pity as long as we haven't shown ourselves to be a threat to them.
Yeah, that could be a good way to do some roleplay as well.
Exactly, yeah.
For first level, we are taking fighter, getting proficiency with all weapons and armor. We were a simple warrior once with those skills, but those skills will help us on our quest. We get second wind for a little healing that we can use once per rest. We get 2 skills from the fighter list, and we want perception and acrobatics. We also get a fighting style, and we're taking dueling. We won't have room for the warcaster feat, so 2 weapon fighting won't work for us, and we need a good finesse weapon. For armor, we're using medium armor, eventually wanting half plate or breastplate if we're concerned about stealth checks. For our finesse weapon, we're taking a scimitar. We could use a rapier or a short sword, but it just feels like, what a hobgoblin would use. So, at second level, we're taking our first level of wizard as we begin to piece together our memories from the tome and begin scribbling them in a tome of our own. We have put together a spell book with 6 spells we want. We want Identify and Detect Magic. Both are necessary spells for all wizards should get, and it helps us with our arcane investigations. As we are also taking Catapult for a little telekinetic attack, and we also take Shield, Silvery Barbs, and Absorb Elements. Because as a melee caster, reactions are great for us, and all 3 are a perfect fit. We also get 3 cantrips, and we'll be taking Message for a little telepathic communication, Friends for some mind control, and Mind Sliver for a psychic attack. Mind Sliver does a d6 damage, and they subtract a d4 from their next save. This will be great when we want one of our bigger spells to stick.
And at 3rd level, we're going to take Wizard Level 2, getting our School of Magic. And we're taking War Magic Wizard. This is, as the name suggests, perfect for a melee caster. You get 2 abilities which are both huge assets in battle. The first is Arcane Deflection, allowing you to use a reaction to add +2 to your armor class against one attack, or add +4 to a saving throw. If you do this, you can't cast leveled spells on your next turn, which could be a serious drawback for a straight wizard, but we can get fine with melee attacks and cantrips. We also get 2 more spells added to our book. Cause, Fear, and Charm Person are good psi-like spells. Magic Missile is a solid spell that doesn't miss and is rarely resisted. There's also some psychic spells from various Unearthed Arcana I'm going to mention, a few here and there. And if your DM uses Unearthed Arcana, these are great for this character. The first level 1 is Hidden Situation. It's from Unearthed Arcana 66. The target makes a wisdom save or is incapacitated, and then at the end of each of its turns it takes a d12 psychic damage and can attempt another wisdom save to end the spell. We also get to add our intelligence modifier to our initiative, which makes us pretty quick in combat.
Yeah.
At 4th level, we go back to Fighter for level 2. We get Action Surge, letting us take an extra action once per rest. It allows a lot of cool, combinations. One would be to cast Mind Sliver and then cast a spell that requires a saving throw on the same turn.
Yeah. At 5th level, we're taking our 3rd level of Fighter, getting our martial art type, and we'll now be taking Psi Warrior, waking up our psionic abilities. We get Psi Die, which are a d6, and we use to activate our Psi abilities. This works similar to Battle Master's superiority dice, and we get a number equal to twice our proficiency modifier, and they return on a short or long rest. The powers we get are Protective Field, letting us use our reaction to roll a Psi Die when anyone within 30 feet takes damage, reducing that damage by the dice roll plus your intelligence modifier. We also get Psionic Strike. When you hit an enemy within 30 feet with an attack and deal damage, you can spend a Psi Die and add the die roll plus your intelligence modifier to that damage. We also get Kinetic Movement. You should read the rules on this, but basically you can move a large or smaller object or willing creature within 30 feet of you to 30 feet in any direction. You can do this once per rest and spend a Psi Die when doing it. At 6th level, we get our 4th level of Fighter for an ability boost, and we need to get our Dexterity up there, making it 16.
And at 7th level, we're going to take 5th level Fighter, getting extra attack, which is going to make us a lot more effective in melee combat.
Definitely.
And at 8th level, we take 6th level Fighter, getting another ability booster feat, and we're taking the Telekinetic feat, giving us a +1 to our intelligence, and it also gives us a Mage Hand cantrip, and we can cast it without components, and the hand is invisible. Mage Hand is a very useful cantrip, and being able to do it without being detected makes it even better. Also, we can shove a creature with a bonus action. Shoving is a powerful combat ability, and doing it as a bonus action is very good. Shoving is one of the best reasons to play a strength-based fighter. With this feat, we can use our intelligence modifier instead. And at 9th level, we take 7th level Fighter, getting 2 more psychic powers. We get Psi-Powered Leap, letting us use a bonus action to gain a fly speed equal to our walking speed until the end of our turn. We can do this once per rest and can spend a Psi Die to use it again. We also get Telekinetic Thrust. When we deal damage with our Psionic Strike, the target must make a strength save. It's a DC 8 plus our proficiency plus our intelligence modifier, or be knocked prone or shoved 10 feet horizontally in any direction. And at 10th level, we take 8th level Fighter for another feat, this time taking the Telepathic feat. This will get our intelligence to 18, and it gives us the ability to speak telepathically to anyone within 60 feet who shares a language with us. We can also cast Detect Thoughts once a long rest without components, and if we have spell slots of 2nd level or higher, we can use them to cast it.
At 11th level, we're taking our 3rd level of Wizard, getting 2nd level spell slots that we need to cast that Detect Thoughts. We also get 2 more spells to our book. Tasha's Mind Whip is a psychic attack that deals 3d6 psychic damage unless it makes an intelligence save, and it can't take reactions until the end of its next turn. And on the next turn, it must choose either to make a move action or a bonus action, and it can't take any others. If it saves, it takes half damage and none of those effects. If you are using Unearthed Arcana number 71, Mind Thrust is essentially the same spell, but as a bonus action, makes it so much better. Phantasmal Force lets you trap someone in an illusion that only they can see. If they fail an intelligence save, they are convinced that the illusion is real, and they can even take damage from it on later rounds. They can make an investigation check, and if they succeed, the spell ends. You will need to read the spell description for all the little details. At 12th level, we're taking our 4th level wizard to get an ability boost, and we are going to make our dexterity 18. We also get 2 more spells. Blur is a good defensive spell. It uses our concentration, but there aren't many occasions where we won't have anything else to concentrate on. Vortex Warp is a spell from Strixhaven's, but you can find it online. It lets you teleport yourself or a friendly creature that is within 90 feet of you, a distance up to 90 feet. You can also teleport hostile creatures, but they get a save to resist against being teleported. You will want to read the spell descriptions again for the specifics. Taking an action instead of a bonus action to cast makes it slightly worse than Misty Step for teleporting oneself, but adding the flexibility to teleport allies or even enemies is worth the trade-off there. Whatever you teleported has to end on a surface that can stand on, and it can't be in like a corner squeezing into a corner. So.
And at 13th level, we take 9th level fighter, getting our first use of Indomitable, allowing us to reroll a failed save once per long rest. And at 14th level, we take 10th level fighter. We get Guarded Mind from Side Warrior, giving us resistance to psychic damage, and if we are charmed or frightened, we can spend a side eye to end all effects on us causing those conditions. That's nice that it's not just one effect, but all of them.
Yeah.
And at 15th level, we're taking our 11th level fighter, getting our 3rd attack. And even at 15th level, it's a great improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And at 16th level, we take 12th level fighter for another ability boost that we'll use to cap off our dexterity. If we're using breastplate, we could get a little more armor class by switching to studded leather, but if we're using half plate, it's the same. And at 17th level, we go back to wizard for the rest of the build. 5th level wizard gets us 3rd level spells. Clairvoyance is an excellent utility spell and fits the psychic power theme we're going for. Blink is an excellent defensive spell and it doesn't require concentration. If you're using Unearthed Arcana, Sonic Blast from Unearthed Arcana 66 is a cone of psychic damage dealing 5d8 damage and can get another d8 for every level we upcast it. In terms of damage, this is only slightly less than Fireball or Lightning Bolt, and the damage is psychic, which is less frequently resisted than Fire or Lightning.
Yeah.
It's also an intelligence save, which a lot of monsters are bad at. The area of cone is generally worse than sphere, which Fireball has, but usually better than line like Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
Also, those that fail the save are pushed 15 feet in the direction of the cone.
A little added plus.
Yeah.
At 18th level, we're taking our 6th level of wizard, and we get Power Surge for more magic, allowing us to add half our wizard level to the damage dealt by one of our spells. You get 1 surge every long rest, and you can get another anytime you successfully counterspell or dispel magic. You can store up to your intelligence modifier worth of surges. You get 2 more spells here, and you're going to take counterspell and dispel magic. These are both great spells to have for your recharging your surges. The surges aren't particularly great damage, but more damage is always good, and this is kind of a cool concept. At 19th level, we're taking 7th level of wizard, getting 4th level spells. Ratham's Psychic Lance is another good psychic damage spell, dealing 7d6, and the target is incapacitated. If it makes an intelligence save, it takes half damage and isn't incapacitated. Phantasmal Killer creates an illusion that only the target can see, representing its deepest fears on a failed wisdom save. The target is frightened, and then on each of its turns it must save again or take 4d10 psychic damage. On a save, the spell ends. This does use your concentration and allows multiple saves, but the payoff is pretty good when it works. Ego Whip from Unearthed Arcana number 66 causes the target to make an intelligence save or suffer disadvantage on attacks, saves, and ability checks for the duration, which is up to 1 minute depending on concentration. It can make another save on each of its turns to end the spell. At 20th level, we're taking our 8th level of Wizard. We get our last ability boost, and we're going to use it to cap our intelligence. And we get 2 more spells. Charm Monster would be a good choice, fitting with our psychic theme, and Dimension Door would add a little more teleportation into the mix.
Yeah. And I really love the flavor of this build. It feels a lot like a Jedi or a mutant telepath.
Yeah.
It also has a lot of great options. Good mobility, good melee damage, lots of psychic attacks that disable the enemy in some way, and deal rarely resisted damage. And they also often target intelligence or wisdom, which are weak saves for a lot of monsters.
Yeah.
The bonus action shove from Telekinetic also gives us a big edge in melee fights. Now lately we've been adding a list of magic items to some of our builds. Obviously what items you get depend on your DM, but these are the ones that would really work well with this character. We use a base of 1 very rare or legendary item, 2 rare, and 3 uncommon items, with a few common items that might fit well if there are any. For our very rare item, I like Scimitar of Speed. It requires attunement and allows us to take a single attack as a bonus action, and having options for the bonus action is always good. At rare, an Arcane Grimoire can be that tome we've been trying to reconstruct. It can be used as a spellbook, for us, and an Arcane Focus. It also gives us +2 on spell attacks and save DC for our spells. And a Cloak of Displacement will give enemies disadvantage on attacks against us. And now at Uncommon, we'll take +1 Half-Blade or Breastplate if we want to be stealthy. And since our Psionic Strike can be used on enemies within 30 feet, a pair of +1 daggers will give us a ranged attack to use with it.
And we hope you enjoyed this build. We loved making this one. It was a good one to do. If you have any questions, comments, or build ideas, please leave it in the comment section below. Next week, we'll be building a multi-class Armor Artificer and a Rune Knight Fighter, so look forward to that. But till next time,
Cheers!
Cheers!